Yo, so much violence. Oh my gosh. Nice. Ah. We don't just do things for ourselves in a self-gratifying, selfish way. But at the same time, we have to fully tap into our full dormant potential. And that requires the power of why. Hello friends, my name is Benoit Kim, a UPenn educated licensed psychotherapist and a professional yapper at your service. Welcome back to my detailed psychological analysis of Your Lie in April episode 6. Athathanation Zero, Tirtanas, Samsonian, Helixi, Jin Ichimaru, and Roxy Love are the founding sponsors of my videos. Shout out to your support. Last episode was intense, so we shall see what is in store with today. But what a masterful poetic writing of a show. A masterpiece, one of one. Remember, you matter, you're worthy. Sit back and hope you enjoy. Who's crying? Yo, so we see this memory recall flashback to their childhood where Tsubaki is physically carrying Kosei. And sounds like Kosei has a skinned knee and Kaori has a swollen, injured ankle. Yet, she is the one that is physically carrying Kosei. This is a callback and reference to Tsubaki's ongoing role as an emotional anchor in Kosei's life, along with Watari and Kaori. But here, literally and physically, Tsubaki is a physical anchor, physical support to literally uplift and support Kosei. Very deep. Tsubaki said, "Thank God I didn't injure your hands. Otherwise, your mom would have killed me." And we saw the demonic shadow figure of a mom. Kind of looks like the Demon King from K-pop Demon Hunters. Another movie I reacted to. Check it out if you haven't done so. Very symbolic, super amazing, obviously. So I wonder how much of Kosei's mom's abusive nature has Tsubaki witnessed towards the end of the mom's lifespan with her terminal stage illness. I'm just curious because it sounds like the impression of that demonic burning figure is terrifying. And obviously children, they're very innocent. So they say it as it is. Children, they do not really lie. Sure, adolescents and teenagers, of course, they lie often just like us as adults. But children do not really lie. They're brutally honest. Because they do not even understand the concept of a lie. Because they're fully themselves. So again, my question is, I wonder how much of the abuse and that tyranny nature of Kosei's mom did Tsubaki witness as childhood best friends and neighbors? Also, I'll be taking notes throughout the series just because there's so many layers in the show. And honestly, it's a lot. The poetry, and so I'm going to be taking some notes since I haven't mispronounced the names in the show so far, but I'll be jotting some notes throughout to really trying to hone in and really double click. Oh, also Kaori is in Kosei's house at the end of last episode. Oh, Kaori's gonna see all the dusty, unruly, disorganized nature of this room where all the trophies, accolades are shoved away, boxes unpacked. And I forgot whether this is the room where Kosei placed the picture of his deceased mother. But it sounds like Kaori's gonna understand and uncover further about Kosei's trauma. And we saw there's literally dust A room is literally dusty. And what does dust symbolize? Old, outdated, buried, dormant states of potential. Look at that. You literally see dust. Oh, and that's a piano. Oh, I didn't even see that. So all those things were on top of the piano. How dare you to let your beloved, precious piano to be dusty, covered with all these unpacked boxes full of stuff. Because remember, this is also a callback to the piano in the cafe that talks about transitional space, the in-between, the healing, where Kosei was offended that there's flowers and water, humidity on top of a piano, which is an instrument, which of course could be damaging. But here, the irony is that Kosei is letting his very own super nice piano at home to be full of dust, absolutely covered in dust, dormant. The death of his potential, death of his music identity. Because like what Kaori said on and on again, for people like us, because two layers. One is their common grounds, their commonality of being musicians, and two, people with trauma, people of their struggle. Oh, she's apologizing to the piano. And probably Kosei. Oh! Right before Tsubaki's eyes, Kaori is wearing Tsubaki's clothes in his room, making herself too comfortable, as if this is her casa. Mi casa su casa. My house is your house. In Spanish, that's literally what Kaori represents. But of course, this is going to further misunderstanding and that grief. And I'm pretty sure at this point, I think it's confirmed that Tsubaki does like Kosei. Oh, wet hair. Oh boy. That was a sick transition, and I hope that chair did not smash through the window or hit Kosei and Kaori's faces. Man, so many violence, again in a benign way, but so many violent and aggressive female characters in the show. I'm dead, yo. And of course, sick transition to Tsubaki fired up because her jealousy, again, her grief, translating to the baseball practice. She is fired up. Straight up violence. An audience gather, and I see, wow, so I guess that skipped a lot, but I'm guessing what happened is Kaori is now empowering and helping and encouraging Kosei to play piano. But remember, Kosei's trauma-induced dissociation and his inability to receive his auditory input as a byproduct of unprocessed trauma of everything I talked about. So Kaori's recording Kosei's piano, and of course completely out of sync, because Kosei's psychogenic mute, definition right here, psychogenic muting, that's also another way of saying trauma induced dissociation that I talked about. Psychogenic is obviously psychological, that's translates to somatic, psychophysiological response of our trauma, which is psychogenic muting, because he's mute with his music, with his piano. But workarounds, a solution to that is recording his playing so that so Kosei's perceiving and it's coming in, not as him from playing, but being played from a recording tape. So very, very ingenious and extremely clever workarounds. So you really see Kaori is pouring her passion, her life, her energy, her attention to really trying to make Kosei pick up the baton of hope and continuation. I just hope that Kaori is not too overly pushy, because with that Cafe in the Piano episode, as I talked about, when you are not ready to fully confront your trauma in a safe, appropriate guardrails and safety that's established emotionally, you can get re-traumatized, and it's extremely, extremely traumatizing and difficult.
こんなんでコンクールやめようそうだ今ならまだもう書類出しといたで 全国規模のコンクール
National
その
level.
全国大会で優勝すれば海外進出のチャンスも
Wow. So in a way, they're going from 0 to 100. Kosei is going from nearly bombing on the stage as Kaori's accompanist. And of course, there's that beautiful redemption arc towards the end with standing ovation from the audience after bombing in the beginning. But right before that, he didn't play for 2 years with his unprocessed grief and trauma and the death of his primary identity of a musician, to now signing up to sounds like one of the most prestigious national piano competition. So in a sense, it is 0 to 100. Might be too quick. So we'll see how that shows up. Because I've heard many people in the comment section saying that, don't you think Kaori is a little bit too pushy, too aggressive with Kosei? Sure, in a good intention, but the impact is distraught. I agree with that. But like I responded to the comment section, I'll say this here. At the end of the day, ultimately, whether it's Kosei or us, we ultimately have the responsibility and the agency, ability to make autonomous decisions to say no. Because our friends, our families, our loved ones, they can only control their intention. They can never control the impact. So it's up to us to say if it's too much. It's up to Kaori to say no. So if he's not saying no, sure, Kaori can be pushy. I agree with that. A little bit too much. Sometimes, because they're middle schoolers. But at the end of the day, Kosei needs to stand up for himself, and it's up to him to say no. And if he does not say no, and even if he reluctantly agrees, in that process he might get re-traumatized, ultimately I think that is Kosei's responsibility, because it is his life, his autonomy, his free will, his agency. Again, people can only control intention. It feels like Kao's talking about stuff from a whole different world. Again, Tsubaki's grief. It's almost like grief of the living. While Kosei and Kaori are blossoming, they're becoming more alive. Because Kosei was metaphorically and emotionally dead. Tsubaki is feeling left behind. She doesn't fit in. She doesn't get it. It is not of her world because she's not a musician. Oh, deep. Who said that? Why do you play piano? Is it for someone else? Is it for yourself? That is deep AF. Straight up bars, speaking of piano. And right on. Maybe Kaori knew or didn't know, but as she was saying that, my first thought was, that's right. As I've established with my analysis and reaction, Kosei has been playing piano for his mom. And I'm sure in the very beginning, with the Twinkle Twinkle Little Stars, in the very genesis, very inception, very beginning, I'm sure Kosei also fell in love with music, the purity, the blissful nature of music. But later on, it became distorted, warped, hijacked for his mom. So what Kaori is doing is like what a therapist does, kind of like a life coach. Kaori is going back to the very core of why. Another great book called The Power of Why by Simon Sinek, right here. Simon Sinek is a renowned author, speaker, and he talks about a power of why, or circle of why, right here. So there's 3 layers of circles. In the middle, it's why, circle of why, and then there's the how, and then there's a what. Most people in this world, they do their life the opposite way. They figure out the what. What do I want to do? And then how do I do it? And then they sometimes, but often they do not think about, why do I want to do the things I do? Why am I embarking on this journey of pursuit? Is that for me? Is this societal expectations, cultural expectations, familiar expectations? So many people neglect and negate their why. That's why they do their what and how. But after many years, they realize they climb up the wrong tree, the wrong ladder, the wrong mountains. You want to reverse that process. You want to start with why. Because once you have a core why, calling of why, once you know yourself, the why will take care of the how. And once you figure out how, the what is the easiest part. But why is the hardest? That's what Kaori's tapping into with Kosei. Why do you want to play the piano? So Kaori, the life coach. How do you really want to play? The emphasis is really. How do you really want to play? Are you just playing through the emotion? Or do you really want to become alive? Tapping into your passion, your why. Become one with music. And look at the audience. Also, doesn't Tsubaki and Watari and the baseball friend, don't they have a practice going on? They're just straight up enchanted with Kaori's oozing charisma and powerful, powerful speech. It's true. I think in a sense, Kaori's talking to everyone. Why do you play baseball? Why do you play soccer? Why do you play piano? And even for the audience, breaking this 4-dimension wall. Why do you do the thing you do? Why do you really do it? Why do we wake up every single morning? Just to check the box? Or because we have this finite amount of life? We only live once. YOLO. Unless your last name is Christ, first name is Jesus, then you live twice. But unless you're Jesus, we all only live once. Don't you want to leave some sort of a footprint in this world? And legacy doesn't have to be this grandiose, massive thing. It could be big or small. Just be the best son you can. Best wife, best husband, best person. Why do you really do the thing you do? That's what Kaori's asking. Super, super powerful. Deep AF. Whoa! Wait, what? Ah! Die. I'm dead. Oh, wow. I thought when Kaori's like, I'll just leave it to you two. I thought she was talking about Kosei and Tsubaki, but I was like, wait, Tsubaki's in practice. And of course, Tsubaki's like, die. Because obviously she's still pissed off about her grief, and again, blossoming nature between Kosei and Kaori. And I think Tsubaki's not even fully aware of her feelings because again, she's just a middle schooler. But the really deep part is Kaori actually humanized piano as like a person. I'll just leave it to you two. That's how much respect, that's the amount of reverence Kaori has for music, such as piano or violin. Because again, Kaori loves music. She's a lover of life because she knows she's going to die. And going back to my comments, is Kaori being too pushy? Again, the caveat to everything what I said, and to be fair, again, with my speculation, with my theory, Kaori is going to die. And when she is truly confronting her mortality, can you blame her for being pushy? No, because she's going to die. She's doing the best she can in the way she knows how to. But she has a power of why. She wants to make sure Kosei does not have any regrets living on as a zombie without a living dead without piano. Because Kaori understands they're musicians. So again, I don't blame Kaori whatsoever. But of course, sometimes she can be a little bit pushy. But again, she's not a psychotherapist. She's not a psychological expert.
Chopin, このピアノ、こうちゃん？そう、弾き始めたのね。
Kosei started playing again.
仕入れでも持っていこうかしら。
Aww.
イメージは？ヨーロッパの石畳を。ありきたり、イメージヒント。
Yo, so much violence. Oh my gosh.
イメージ。朝食に目玉焼きを。
Yo.
イメージ。
Wow.
ジってなんだ
I'm guessing this is a visualization technique to visualize the outcome you want by embodying and familiarizing your psyche, your body, your emotions, your muscle memories to that. And visualization is a psychological tactic that's very helpful for mental health because priming ourselves with a desired outcome. And I don't mean this law of attraction, the BS type, the woo-woo stuff. I really mean psychologically visualizing an outcome. It's almost like placebo effect, definition right here. Placebo effect is attaching and visualizing a positive outcome to like a sugar pill to derive the same efficacy of a medication. That is the power of our minds. Because when you have this visceral, deep belief, neuroscience research has proven that our brains, this very primitive thing, our brains cannot differentiate a deeply, deeply seated lie or self-deceptions or a belief from truth. Let me say that again. When you believe in something so deeply, so wholeheartedly, so viscerally, even if it's a lie, our brains cannot differentiate a lie from a truth because the psycho and physiological response to this deep-seated belief is so strong, so much fervor that our brains take that as true. That's the reason why when we berate ourselves, when we beat ourselves up because of guilt, shame, insecurity, whatever it is, our brains take that as, oh my gosh, I must be worthless. Why? Because I'm constantly berating myself. I'm constantly telling myself that I'm worthless. And over time, therefore, I must be worthless. Do you see what I'm saying? Our brains cannot differentiate a lie from a truth when we repeat it, when we truly believe in it, for a better or worse. But in this case, through visualization, you can prime yourself and really get into this positive state that's super, super beneficial.
曲の解釈とは違うのか君はこの曲をどう弾きたい僕はこの曲をどう弾きたい
So deep. So Kaori is here, again, very deep. Kaori is being Kosei's accompanist, which is like the piano competition. And B, she is being his physical companion and emotional anchor. Because again, for as pushy and violent as she is, she's extremely thoughtful. She cares deeply, maybe too deeply sometimes. That's why she's here physically with him. Look at her smiling. Aww.
天使みたいだ
She looks like an angel because she's going to die. Oh my gosh. Too soon, y'all? Oh man.
悲しくしてれば
When she's quiet and non-violence. Let's get it, Kosei. Lots of things happening in this episode.
準備バッチシ怖いのは怪我だけかなそっちはこの前有馬くん頭から煙出てたもうちょっとで見えてくると思うんだけど根詰めすぎじゃないかな廊下でフラフラしてたし昴生ピアノは弾いてほしいでも苦しんでほしくない今有馬くんはその苦しみを音にしようとしている痛みも苦しみもあがいた自分さえもさらけ出して音に自分が宿る
Wow.
そうやって私たちは生きた音
Wow. Wow. Deep AF. I think Kaori is talking about Kosei, but she's also talking about herself. Channeling suffering and pain into music by becoming one and becoming alive. Music feels alive because Kaori is dying. Just like for Kosei, that is his process. And I agree with what Tsubaki is saying. I want him to play, but I don't want him to suffer. Tsubaki is speaking from a more interpersonal, more of a friendship, emotional perspective, and Kaori speaking more from a musician, this creative point of view. They're not in conflict with each other. But even this dialogue, as innocent as it is, it reveals Tsubaki's ongoing insecurity and her grief about she doesn't speak the same language. She feels left out.
有馬くんはその最中きっと
And look at that. Kaori speaking on behalf of Kosei. And I agree with Kaori. Kosei is going through a dusting off process. Literally like the room full of dust. Kosei is going through literally and figuratively dusting off the piano. Activating that dormant potential that's been asleep and dusted cover up for so long. But again, this hurts and this pains Tsubaki. But she doesn't fully get it. But deep inside, she knows Kaori's right. And that leaves Tsubaki with more longing, more grief. Because man, I don't fully fit in anymore. I don't speak the same language. I cannot support and be with Kosei the same way Kaori does. It's tough.
私たち
Yeah, it's tough.
母ちゃんはどうしてそ
He's like a hopeless kid brother. Wait, isn't that what Tsubaki also said on the bus scene?
ダメなんかじゃないよ じゃあまた明日
I hope this new blossoming relationship and situation between Kosei and Kaori, I hope that doesn't rupture this amazing, endearing friendship, either between Kosei and Tsubaki or between Tsubaki and Kaori. Because one thing that really could shatter friendships, no matter what age you are, is romantic involvement. Because it's so tricky. It's such a complicated and complex situation to navigate and maneuver, especially for middle schoolers. I mean, let alone adults. It's the same thing. Very sombering music in the background. Wait, Kaori just turned. Where'd she go? Did she go to Kosei's house? Where's she running to? And also, one last thing. I wonder when Kaori's like, Kosei's like a hopeless little brother. Again, I don't know if Kaori's interested in Kosei romantically yet. But again, maybe that's a parallel process with Kosei and Tsubaki and Kosei and Kaori. Maybe Kaori's also using he's a hopeless little brother like a defense mechanism to make sure she's not hurt, one. And B, because she knows that she's going to die. She has a very limited, finite amount of time. And maybe she doesn't want to get involved in something that she cannot handle and something that Kosei cannot handle because she's going to die. That's my overanalysis. Tsubaki's deep in thoughts.
よ今部活帰りでさ何してっかなと思って
Oh, the former soccer team captain's back. Yo, shoot your shot, baby.
私も今帰るところです最近帰る時間かぶりますね
Oh, it's definitely planned. Oh,
私たちに私はいない
he just hit her. Oh, poor soccer captain, my man. You're a great dude. Sounds like you were a heartthrob in middle school. I'm sure even now, but Tsubaki her mind is drifting completely somewhere else on Kosei.
先輩
She's gonna break him off?
私たち付き合いましょうか
Whoa! Rebounds? Dang, Tsubaki.
僕はこの曲をどう弾きたいのだろう
Oh, okay. So Kaori's not going to Kosei's house. I'm guessing she is running towards school.
何のために
お疲れ
Wow.
だろう
Who do I want to play for? I'm telling y'all, with my prediction in episode 4 and episode 5, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99.9% sure. Since, even hand sanitizers and condoms don't have 100% success rate. I'm 99.9% sure that Kaori will become the new Y for Kosei. I hope Kosei can ultimately play for himself. But I guess playing for someone like... Actually, I don't know. I don't know if playing for someone like Kaori is better than playing for his mom. Because they both have terminal stage illness. And they're both going to die. So that is heartbreaking. Whatever the side of the coin you flip. Head or tail. they both suck, right? But I guess my hope is I hope Kosei can eventually and ultimately play for himself.
今日はもうやめたら外真っ暗月が綺麗だよ私を恨んでる椿ちゃんが言ってた後世は苦しんでる
Oh, I see. So the dialogue between Tsubaki and Kaori is a setup for this deep heart-to-heart conversation. Again, talking about that elephant in the room, this tension, the push and pull between really empowering Kosei to push through and move through his trauma from being stuck to get to unstuck, untethering who he is from what happened to him, his trauma, to, of course, also understanding that there might be emotional, psychological suffering. So they're addressing and they're confronting this tension. This is great because you want to talk it out.
私も知ってた君の部屋を見て分かってた
Mm.
音が聞こえなくなって
She knew.
ピアノを捨てようとする君ピアノをよりどころとする君だから目を背けるように誇りや本で覆い隠そうとしている
She gets it.
愛しいけ
Kaori
れど
gets
近
it.
づけない
Mm.
恋しいけれど触れられない悲しいのに痛いのに
Wow, she
私はそれに
understands
気
him.
づかない
Aw. Oh, she's crying. Very thoughtful. Very sincere, heartfelt apologies. Hmm.
苦しいのは当たり前なんだけどな
Hmm.
僕は海図のない航路を行くんだろ
Oh, beautiful callback. Kaori literally swept away the dust and piano in aka Kosei's dust, which is what I analyzed before. And at the end of the day, I am sailing in uncharted water. Immediate callback to what Kaori's speech in the beginning of this episode.
出演するのも生み出すのも苦しい ありがとう
Oh, they're so wholesome.
ずっと前から僕の世界は変わっていた
Oh. Oh. Oh, goosebumps.
ありがとう
Oh.
僕と出会ってくれてカラフルになっていたんだ
Oh. Oh my gosh. That's a reference to you're the spring that comes once in a lifetime. The first spring in my 14th year. Because what's spring? Spring is a season of renewal. Plants grow. Agriculture blossom. Spring is a season of renewal and hope and transformation, like I talked about. And Kosei's smile, him saying thank you twice, really means Kosei's internalized everything that Kaori's been trying to do for him and with him. For us to internalize means we processed it, we accepted it, and now we're internalizing and we're operationalizing it. We're operating based on this newfound belief. This is the very beginning in the process of post-traumatic growth, PTG, that I talked about in the beginning. Wow. And this is what I mean earlier. At the end of the day, we need to trust and give credit to Kosei for exercising his self-determinism, his self-will, his agency. He has the power to say yes or no. We don't need to victimize Kosei on his behalf. He can make the decision. And you see, although Kaori's been pushy here and there, at the end of the day, Kosei tapped into that post-traumatic growth process. And now he's blossoming with a smile. His world is no longer colorless. It is filled with color, vibrancy of life. Let's give each other a little bit more faith and more credit. We are much more capable than we think we are.
下手くそ
Oh,
夜
deep.
の中に
Wow.
僕ら二人しかいないみたいだ
Wow.
ただいまより畜産隊壮行会を始めますそれでは最初に
っていうスターの誕生に立ち会う
Yo. I'm gonna Yo, Watari's oozing confidence, charisma, I love it. And obviously Tsubaki is averting her eyes from Kosei because she saw Kosei. They made eye contact, but she's averting. She's feeling more and more self-conscious, more and more insecure because of her grief and feeling left behind. Kosei noticed it. Kosei knows something's going on with Tsubaki. Because just like how much Tsubaki knows Kosei, Kosei also deeply understands Tsubaki, childhood best friends. Oh. It's like gah, 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 gah. After their heart-to-heart conversation, Kaori's like, all right, cool. You okay with it? All right, we talked it out. I apologize. You accepted my apologies. You internalized everything I tried to say. You feel empowered? All right. Let me be even more savage, useless, mediocre. just heart-stabbing dagger. Whispering to me. Oh, it's whispering. Where are you in all this? Where are you? Where's your heart? Why are you really playing this? Who are you playing this for? Poetry, man. Just, That's true. Take a break. I think Kaori said you're hopeless because Kosei is still so hyper fixated on perfection. That's why she was saying it's hopeless. Because Kaori understands perfection is an illusion. She knows that what trapped Kosei, aside from all the trauma, the mom, is that perfectionism. And you cannot transcend perfection. How can you transcend perfection? How can you transcend something that is elusive, that is an illusion? You can't. You cannot transcend lie. But you can self-transcend. You can tap into something that's bigger than myself. And just to clarify, when I say earlier, when I was hoping for Kosei to ultimately play for himself, I don't mean in a selfish, self-gratifying, self-indulgence way. I mean, tap into something that is deep inside of us, because we have to self-actualize our full potential to tap into the highest peak, highest flow state, which is self-transcendence. Music is freedom. Music is relationship. We don't just do things for ourselves in a self-gratifying, selfish way. But at the same time, we have to fully tap into our full dormant potential. And that requires the power of why. True. That's true. I've shared this before. Routine and discipline creates productivity, but novelty inspires. And musicians and creatives, they need inspiration. They need that light bulb, that muse moment. Very good advice. Oh no, Tsubaki's gonna I'm gonna predict Tsubaki's gonna get distracted. Oh no. Oh no! Oh no! No, Tsubaki! No. You see, Tsubaki is distracted. She is not being present. And remember, Tsubaki is an ace player on their team. Man, Tsubaki is completely distracted. Another strike. Oh no! Oh! First of all, so poetic.
でも普段はだピアノ弾かせたらすごくてこの前なんてお客さん友達でおかしなこと言
Tsubaki is talking about Kosei, another boy, on a date with another boy. Oh no, Tsubaki, you are in deep. And I wonder if the soccer captain is laughing because maybe he gets it.
話ばかりする
Ah.
よっしゃ抜けたつばきちゃん
やだよやだよやだよ
No, don't get injured.
嫌なもんは嫌だいつも一緒
Oh, even while she's running, she sees the shadow and the lurking image of Kosei and Kaori.
そばにいた嬉しい時
Oh,
悲しい時も
oh.
でも
Oh, you are though.
誰かがいる
Oh, Tsubaki, you are by his side.
つばきストップストップ
嫌だよ
No. Oh, Tsubaki completely distracted. She is, speaking of disassociation, she's disassociated from the reality. Instead of trauma-induced disassociation that Kosei went through with his psychogenic mute, inability to hear his music, Tsubaki's going through grief-induced disassociation.
を見て私を見てよ
Ah. She's hurt. Oh.
アウト
Oh.
ゲームセット
She got out. She should have stopped at the first or second or third inning. Ah.
つばき私こっちから帰るわ
こっちじゃん柏木
彼氏に慰めてもらいなよ
彼氏先輩
It's Kosei.
おっす
Yo. You see, Kosei's here because he knew something's off. It's like, why is Tsubaki playing like that? She's the ace. She gave me 40,000 plus concussions with her amazing home runs through the cracked window shields. So he knew. That's why I think he's checking on her. And this is also deep. This is a reverse callback and a parallel. Tsubaki has been Kosei's emotional anchor, anchoring him to the presence, to the emotional safety, the comfort, that relational support. And now, just like the reverse process of in the very beginning of the episode, Kaori physically carried Kosei with his skinned knee injury, but now Kosei is being the emotional and physical anchor by checking in on his childhood best friends, Tsubaki. Wholesome desu. Nice. Ah. Yeah, you screamed. That was a light tap to your freaking shin and your ankle, and you've been doing that to freaking Kosei countless times, yo.
こうせ恥ずかしい
誰も見てないよ
誰にもバレなかった
Oh, he gently tapped into her ankle because he knew she was injured with that final slide. Oh, but again, I literally called this. This is identical replica with the beginning of the episode. But man, what an impressive, amazing writing. Kosei is physically carrying Tsubaki, like what she did for him when they were young.
何年の付き合いだと思ってんだよ
True, exactly right.
母ちゃんは
帰ったよ一人で椿ちゃんのとこに行けって
Exactly. Beautiful callback.
自分の足をハンドボールみたいに腫らしちゃって
そうだっけ
子供の頃とちっとも変わらないんだから
変わったよ
我慢なんかしなくていいんだから
Aww. They can read each other like books.
椿には心配かけてばかりだったから、 たまには僕に心配させてほしいな。
Hmm.
頑張るから。だから元気な
Aww.
椿に見ててほしいんだ。
Aww.
いつまでも椿に来て見た目より軽いな。
Ah!
椿は女の子なんだな。
You're lighter than you look. It's because of all that power. Just that power, that aggression, that violence. Maybe made Tsubaki seem heavier because muscles weigh heavier than fat. I'm dead. But you're a girl after all. And of course, Tsubaki is blushing.
何よそれ、変なの。
そうだね、変なこと言った。
Aww. Wow. Wow. This is a callback reference to what Tsubaki said, I think a couple episodes ago with the spring is coming. Here, that's what Kosei is saying. I think seasons are about to change. Renewal, transformation has begun for Kosei. And of course, they're under this beautiful starry sky. Again, infinite stars, infinite possibility.
音楽が何よ。 長い
Yes.
時間があって、ちっぽけで大切な思い出がたくさんある。
Yes.
今度は
Aww.
僕が
Aww. Aww, she's grieving.
負けちゃった。私のせいで負けちゃったよ。みんなで頑張ったのに悔しいよ。悔しいよ。
Mm. But her heart is full.
どうして足
Oh.
がこんなにキラキラしてるんだろう。髪から音楽室の匂い。少し荒い息遣いが聞こえる。
Mm.
涙で濡れた。
Oh, so poetic. Oh. That was so deep. So if you guys Google what is the duration of a moment, because she said, at least at this moment, or I feel like this moment could last forever. If you Google a moment is about 10 to 15 seconds. That's the last time, according to Google at least. But if you really think about it, in every moment for that duration of time, doesn't matter if it's a blip of a lifetime, a blip in a fleeting time, doesn't matter. I'm not talking about just regular temporal perception. I mean, in that moment is forever. It's like we all fell in love in moments, in a moment of time in the past. We were in love with our exes, whatever. But sure, just because we are no longer together, it doesn't take away the memories of the past. Sure, music transcends words. But do you know what is the ultimate hallmark of our very existence? That we mattered, that we existed? Memories. Memories are the very fundamental fabric of our existence. Music gets encoded into memories. Trauma gets encoded into memories. The best things, the worst things, the good, the bad, and the ugly, they all get encoded into memories. Memories is ultimately the very proof, the very existence of our lives. So in that sense, Tsubaki is right. Who cares? We have all these precious memories together. And again, for better or worse, no one can take away our memories from us. They are part of us forever, for better or worse. And one thing I like to challenge Tsubaki on is, you were by Kosei's side all along. Sure, you're not literally next to him performing on stage because you're not a musician, but you've been next to him through the good times, through the grief, as she talked about. When Kosei looked back in his toughest childhood moments and the best childhood moments, Tsubaki, you will be a part of Kosei for remaining lifetime of his existence. And no one can take that away from you. No one can take that away from you, Tsubaki.
おはようございます先生。
マイホーコンの出場者名簿だ。付箋のところ見てみなよ。気合入るぞ。
Oh!
待ってたぜ2年間。積年の屈辱を晴らす時が来たぜ。
Oh, so I guess now it's showcasing all the competitions to Arima or Kosei, because I'm sure Kosei's been annihilating all his competitions until he got to the pinnacle, the youngest winner of that prestigious music competitions in history. Kosei's participating.
気のせいですよ。何してるのかと思ったらやっと出てきた。
Wow.
今度こそ
Yo. All these freaking sore losers. Kosei's gonna wipe the floor, freaking vacuum it, mop it. I don't know. I ran out of words, but you get my point. Arima Kosei. This episode was called The Way Home. Enough said. Because no matter what we are working on, career, job, family, romance, marriage, healing, therapy, at the end of the day, all of us, we all want to journey back home to emotional safety. Feeling safe with who we are, authentically, fully, without compromise. The way back home to emotional safety. Oh, amazing, amazing episode. Hey, that's enough yapping for today. As always, if you enjoyed my video, if you derived something helpful, if my video made your day a little bit better, a little bit lighter, I know with this series, it's not always going to make your day light, but if you really thought it was helpful, please smash that thumbs up. It takes very little effort, but really helps us out to keep us going. And make sure you're subscribed to make sure you're following along with the entire series and all my new shows that's on the calendar. Thank you for tuning in as always. And remember, we all want to journey back home to emotional safety. And it's better to deal with other people. Like, why do you think I have this coffee mug that says good friends? It is first of all, I love the aesthetics. And secondly, it's a constant reminder. We cannot do this life alone. Let's rely on one another. As always, thank you for tuning in. Until next time. Peace.